folks. Welcome to another Friday Night Live. As you can see, we're still going to stay warm. It's even colder this week than it was last week, and windy. Very windy. We did get some sun today, so that kept it from being a total bummer. Actually, I've had several sunny days in a row, so that's helped me kind of keep moving on stuff instead of wanting to be cooped up on the couch with a book. Not quite the time of year where I can really be getting away with that. So probably a bit of a shorter show tonight. I just kind of going to go over some farm news with you guys, and get you caught up on a couple things we've got in the works going on out here. Howdy, Pippinized. Happy Friday to all my fellow humans out there. So we had our gathering on Sunday. Had a great time. It was one of those times where going into it, I only had a couple of RSVPs, and then everybody the day before decided to check in, which was cool. And I'm sure people were just kind of trying to figure out what they wanted to be doing with the end of their holiday weekend and the weather and all that kind of good stuff. So, and the weather did behave itself. We enjoyed a nice campfire, did our tour, had about 10 people out here. Had some friends come out as well. So nice day. Was not terribly cold. It was in the 40s, but the sun was out. So we all enjoyed ourselves on that. So that puts us probably early March for the next one. And I may be reworking that just a little bit. I may start converting some of these gatherings into maybe a micro class as well, or perhaps a micro GSD project or something of the sort. So one of my early January or really end of December tasks is to go ahead and put a schedule together and put a calendar up on the website, and I'll just have everything right there. If I know I'm doing it, a couple of foraging classes a month, that kind of thing, the sheep class I want to teach, all that stuff is going to go onto a calendar. So that for me, that makes it a priority instead of trying to fit stuff in between other jobs and that sort of thing. So be looking for that. I'll get that announced, I'm sure, when I get it all pulled together. Digger's popping in. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. So let's see what we got here. So I think last week I was talking about fetching some hay. So Tyler and I got together, took care of that, went down to a nice place in South Knoxville, 70-acre farm down there, it's always nice to see that much intact land in an area as developed as ours is. And this gentleman had big rolls, 4 by 5 foot, bigger than what I've been dealing with. I didn't quite realize that at first until we compared it to the other roll that was in the shed. But big 4 by 5 rolls. He said that was a little blue stem, which is actually one of our native grasses. And he was telling me how he said a couple of times, he said the rolls they're dusty. And I was kind of like, I'm not worried about it, you know. And what he was telling me was that where this hay was cut, previously it had flooded. It was on the French Broad River. Had flood. The river came up over its banks. It wasn't a real big deal, and it wasn't from the hurricane, but the river came up over its banks. And when everything dried out and all that had receded and whatnot, they went in there and noticed that kind of the tips of the grasses all had a little bit of silt, sediment, and dust on them. But they went ahead and cut it, rolled it and everything, which blue stem's a great grass to have. And I realized that actually meant that there are more nutrients and minerals, and remineralization of these pastures is one of the things that's, part of what I'm working on in a very passive way by having the sheep have access to mineral, and then any, excess is excreted, but that works. So in my mind, I was importing not just quality grass and biomass and feed for the animals, but hopefully some useful minerals as well, because the soils down on the French Broad River. I've had a few customers that have properties on this kind of, the French Broad, very close to where it meets the Tennessee River. And that river bottom soil is amazing. Beautiful, beautiful soils. It's one of the few, it's kind of the exact opposite of everything I'm used to digging in. It is not very rocky. It is not hard. It is not full of clay. It's just super loamy, super beautiful soil. So yeah, I was good with importing a little bit of that up here. So yesterday I decided to go ahead and roll out. Let me back up for a second. The sheep went into their wintertime paddock earlier in the week. I don't remember what day I built it. I think maybe it was Monday. So their paddock is about a 1/4 acre that includes fencing into the wood line and under one really, really large eastern red cedar. So that is their wind cover, their snow cover, and that kind of thing. And once I had them in there, I figured I might as well start rolling this hay now. Like I already had a roll out there. I had it sitting up, had the little corral around it. But I got it tipped on its side, and we're talking about something. This roll probably weighed about 1,000 pounds. The big ones are probably 1,500. So, and remember, I'm on a hill, guys. I'm in various levels of incline, but this roll, it behaved itself. Nothing got crazy. Nothing wound up in the woods. Nothing, went to the bottom of the hill where I would not be able to fish it out. Just kind of mostly worked backwards. Actually pulling it towards me worked better because I can kind of pull it and I can kind of apply brakes with all 4 limbs. And of course, the nice thing is it gets lighter as you go. So as you get a little more tired, you got a little less bail to wrestle with. So I've got that one rolled out, and I will probably want to roll at least one of these big ones in their current paddock. And then after that, I'm going to shift them to an adjacent site, which is essentially the same pasture. It's the same section of pasture. I just didn't fence them in as big this time around. So I'll try to kind of evenly be applying the hay to the ground. So for anybody who's maybe, I'm sure my audience here has probably heard me talk about this before, but I've been kind of debating this whole rolling out hay thing. And this went ahead and decided if I'm serious about wanting to increase soil fertility and the ability of grasses to grow and to root, then I need to, pull the trigger somewhere or another on making that happen. So I went ahead and decided to buy in hay with our money. As it is, Marcy provides the hay, but when you roll out hay, a lot of it is wasted in the sense that the animal is not eating it. It's not wasted in the sense that it's not doing you a ton of good for eventually increasing the productivity of your pasture. But I kind of felt like if I was going to put hay on the ground where a lot of it gets trampled and pooped on and doesn't get eaten because the animals would naturally avoid that, then I was gonna fund that. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. It's kind of convenient. The worst pasture is also the one that's closest to me, closest to the cabin. So they're close to easy water from frost-free spigots. And, I can step into my front yard. I can really even kind of look out the window and see most of that paddock. So it'll be nice to have them close as we go into, annoying, cold, windy weather. Plus, sometime later this month, we'll be in lambing season. So that'll be happening too. So it's, I'll keep you guys posted. I've seen small improvements with just a couple of passes of animals in this area, but this takes it needs a TLC, that's for sure. What else to catch you? Oh yeah, speaking of sheep, we're catching sheep tomorrow. So we've got everything lined up. Tyler's going to be here. I've got this hard paddock put together. We're going to back the trailer up and run everybody into hopefully not everybody, but run at least those 2 rams into the corral, get them up into the trailer. So I've been up there several times, kind of looking over how we put it together. Looked for weak spots. Looked for if I was a sheep and I wanted to cause trouble, how would I go about it? And I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work because mostly we're just going to be relying on their intense desire for some sweet feed to move and then to separate and obtain who we need to obtain. Yeah. Oh, and we're having a ram swap. That's what I was brain farting on. So my buddy Keith from Claxton, he's going to bring. He's getting out of sheep, so he is bringing a ram, and he will take Ramsey back with him. But Ramsey's next location is going to be with somebody else, probably down in Oliver Springs. So we're swapping rams, which is good timing. So that means that Ramsey has sired 2 generations. The ones who were born last year, the ones that are yet to lamb. But at that point, it's time for new genetics, as I understand it. I've been reading through. Let me grab it here. The Practical Shepherd by Abram Bowerman. I found this through Stockman Grass Farmers website. Wonderful book, to the point, explains everything clearly. This is about with the subtitle being trials, errors, and successes while maintaining profitability. That's what needs to be happening here. Is these animals are working for me. I am doing my part to take care of them, but I need the numbers to work at some point. So I've been kind of digging into the chapter that's all about animal behavior and working with them. So the goal tomorrow is to keep everything cool, calm, simple. Use the sheep behavior to kind of run things to our advantage, and go down 2 hungry sheep that are making a significant impact on hay right now. Rams are aggressive eaters, so kind of going in the winter, no need to keep feeding those 2, if you get what I'm saying. The one other thing, little farm news bit around here. My brother and I got talking the other day, and because he had picked up some fruit trees, he had picked up some apples. He brought me a couple, and we started talking about the next set of perennial plantings, because my food forest, the current food footprint of the food forest that I've had in mind is full in terms of anything from like mid-level to full canopy filled. Can't add anything else. Maybe a few small shrubs here and there. But at this point, I'm mostly working on filling in the ground cover layer, vining layer, that sort of thing, getting more kind of medicinal stuff in there. Maybe some more strawberries and things of that nature. But it's full. So, and I can't really take it any further towards the garden. So my only other option was to continue down the hill into an area that, ideally we'd like to keep that area as pasture. But if you go across the driveway where Tyler had recently bush hogged everything, there's 2 nice intact swales still there. And the contour is really easy to see. So Tyler said, well, hey, let's just start planting that, and we'll just kind of meet in the middle. So this one will be a little different. We're kind of following. Well, I'm following the contour. In this case, I'm following the contour and the swale line to kind of designate how we want to plant things out. So it's a big area. It's probably, bigger than my old place. So at least 1/5 of an acre, maybe 1/4 of an acre. And then below that is pasture. But this area that Tyler just cut back, it was just rough shape, super rough shape. In terms of there was no ground cover there. Like once he bush hogged it, all that was left was, a little bit of leaf matter and I mean, the soil was basically bare. Because it had gotten so overgrown with brambles and you know, undesirable saplings, that it was so shaded that there was no really no place for grass to sneak in there. So since that's been cut back, we'll be building the soil there and be plugging in trees. So he planted some apples, and I think he had like a peach or a nectarine out there. And then I came in and transplanted a mulberry that I'd found elsewhere on the property, because Lord knows I got a thing for mulberries. But where it was probably not a great place to keep it. So dug that one out, transplanted that. So we're well on our way into building that up. I've got a whole bunch of bag leaves that I'm going to take over there and scatter around just to get that bare soil covered, and you know, kind of kick up the soil activity and all of that. Finally, something worth noting for those of us who keep trying to find things to do that are productive outside, especially that involve plants. At least here, you know, we're talking southeast here, but we can get to work on some propagation. Actually, I double checked my books and my charts, and right now you can do hardwood cuttings from things like figs and blueberries. And my favorite, which is super easy to do, is to work on your air layering of any of your brambles, any of your berries, blackberry, black raspberry, wineberry, things like that, all that kind of stuff that I have up here. There's a great patch over close to Tyler's that we were talking about, and so I took some 1 gallon pots of potting soil, found those brambles, bend them over, put about 4 to 6 inches of the top of the plant down into that soil, tamp it, or usually a little staple or something to weigh it down. But that will root rather quickly, really. And by spring, just clip it off from the parent plant, and you've got yourself a 1 gallon potted plant. Cuttings need a little more TLC this time of year. If you're in an area where you can, where things aren't going to freeze, you know, if you have, you know, a heated garage or something like that, you can get a bunch of cuttings started. I've got a really good, straightforward video on propagating cuttings on this channel. So I want to propagate some things in that manner, but I don't have, when the Wallapini is finished, I will certainly have a warmer place. So I will probably not do them. I will do them just in one of my raised beds, and you know, just make a note to, you know, only water lightly. I started, because I guess what I'm saying about the whole freezing thing is I start a lot of my cuttings in water at first, and then transplant, or, you know, put them out in a bed to do their thing. But yeah, we're 15 degrees for the lows overnight, so not gonna be doing that. So for, like, if you're doing fodder trees, you can absolutely start doing the cuttings for your you know, for your mulberries, poplar, willow. You can do willow any old time. Willow is so easy. Elderberries, things like that. So so that's good. That's a good thing to look forward to keep a little bit of garden activity going on. So yeah, I told you guys it'd be a short one tonight. I'm kind of ready to chill. When it gets dark early like this, I just want to go to bed. So thank you guys. Thank you, Pippin and Digger, for popping in. Hope you guys have a good evening, and we will talk to you next time.